With the rise of drag and drop UIs and no code platforms, creating complex AI applications has become remarkably straightforward and accessible even to individuals with minimal or no code experience. So, in this video, we will look at a new no code platform called Vectorshift. So, you can easily streamline your application using pipelines to build and deploy AI assistants, chatbots, or automations in seconds. You can easily build pipelines using LLMs, including open source LLMs. So, what distinguishes this platform from other drag and drop UIs is its AI first approach, which not only delivers a sleek user interface but also empowers users with the flexibility to construct and implement high quality complex AI solutions. So, Vector Shift allows you to build, design, prototype, and deploy generative AI workflows and automations across two interfaces. So, we have the no code and the code SDK. All right. So, the code SDK, with that, you can implement the use of code to build your app from scratch. You can effortlessly create application using that drag and drop or dive into coding with seamless IDE integrations. So you can really enjoy that flexibility and power all in one platform. All right. So you can look at the marketplace. We have a lot of pre-built use cases and they have over 60 and counting pre-built pipelines for you to automate workflow immediately. So you don't have to start from scratch. We also have the agent. So with the agent, you can configure and deploy automations, autonomous AI agents to complete complex tasks for you. And we have the search. So with the search, you can seamlessly unite vast data from diverse sources. So you can enhance the effectiveness of AI pipelines. So we have integrations and automations. You can do the live sync, which means that you can set up action based on triggers and you can get responses automatically. Right? So we have integration with Google Drive, OneDrive, Salesforce, HubSpot. There are so many of them. And we have the large language models. So we have several large language models that you can choose for specific AI applications. All right, so we are going to look at the platform. You see the login here. So you can get started. If you are a first time user, you create an account. You can use your email, your Gmail. You can use your GitHub account to log in. So I'm going to say login. All right. So when you log in the first time, you should see the UI just like this. So we have the pipelines. So the pipelines, they are the chains of the logic that will automate your workflow. So it comprises of the input, output, the multiple processing steps. So I'm going to walk you through that. And we have the marketplace. So the marketplace provides a platform for discovering, running, importing, and publishing pipelines. So that helps collaboration and innovation by helping the users to choose. So in here, there are tons of applications. There are tons of chatbots. For example, you can see chatbots on vector shift example, document search example, right? Samples here. So you can run it from here. You can just run it. You can view the pipeline, right? You can see how it's set up, right? And you can import it. So if you can use it as a template, copy that into your pipeline. It's very easy. So we have several sectors. So from the sales, marketing, productivity, recruiting, there are a bunch of them and they keep updating it every time. All right. So the next we have storage. So with the storage, it offers an efficient storage solution with files and vector stores, which allows users to manage files and create and data repositories within the pipeline. So we can see we have the knowledge base where you can embed or put your files. And these are the files that you upload. All right. So let's go to the next one. The next one is automation. So you can enable the monitoring of your events from the integrations like email, type forms, triggering the automatic execution of pipelines in response to these events. So you can set up automation. You can create automatic response to your email, to Gmail clients email. You can use the type form. There are so many use cases for creating automations. All right. So the next thing is the chatbot. So it helps you to build. You can build a chatbot that you can deploy or embed into your web page. And the next one, so you can evaluate two chatbots. All right. So if you want to see the performance of one as compared to the other over time, you can use the evaluation to evaluate the responses of chatbots. So we have the transformation. For the transformation, it helps you to provide your own code to build your own application. So you can write a Python code to embed into your application. All right, so let's get into create some examples and use cases. All right, so what we are going to do is we are going to set up three use cases. So we are going to build them from scratch. So we are going to build a medical rack chatbot to give. So we are going to input some medical data into the pass that to the LLM to answer questions on the to answer medical questions, health questions. So the last thing we are going to look at is we are going to also build an autonomous pipeline that will streamline the process of sending and responding to customer emails promptly. All right, so in here we have the new. So in pipeline, we are already in pipeline. So you say, let's do create pipeline, and we go here, create pipeline from scratch. All right, so in here we have the general. So general comprises the input. So the input is we use that to create the user input field, and the output to output the data from the pipeline. So it gives us the response. We have the text that allows for variables, and pipelines node transform. So you can use Python code to transform and use this to save the file. All right. So we are going to so we have the LLM. So we have several models in here, and it keeps updating. This also includes open source LLM. So you can also make use of the open source LLM for building AI applications. And we have the knowledge base where we are going to embed our files, URLs, and other stuff. So you have the integration, so you can integrate from here. A bunch of them here: the Gmail, Airtable, Discord. So you can use from Slack, Salesforce, and you can use the data loaders. You can do files, API, CSV, URLs, the YouTube, right? So you can upload data using the data loaders, and the multimodal. You can use the image generation, speech text, the GPT-4 vision, the Gemini vision. All right. So we have the logic. So you can implement the condition, the merge, split text, and time. So we have the chat. You can do a chat memory or data collector. So we're going to be starting with the inputs to go to, let's build a medical rack chatbot. All right. All right. So the next thing we wanted to do now is to embed some data into the knowledge base to answer some questions. So we're going to pass that to the large language model so we can answer some questions, specific questions from the model. Okay, so before we do that, we are going to storage, and we will do new, create, and we are going to say health data. All right, I'm going to say health data. So in here, there are options that you can change the chunk, overlap, and you can choose the embedding model. Okay, so I'm going to do the default. I'm going to say confirm, right? And I'm click here, add document. So in here, you can do the file, you can upload a file, you can do integration URL, Wikipedia, YouTube. So I'm going to do file, and I'm going to click on the plus sign. Right, so once I'm here, I'm going to upload this data. I'm going to say add, right? So I'm going to click on this. All right, so as you can see, I already have it here, right? So I have vector loaders, it's 97. So I'm going to go back. So we have the vector count is 97. So we have our health data. So I'm going to go to the pipeline and I'll say create, and I'll create pipeline from scratch. So we will do the input node. I'm going to put it here, and I'm going to do the output node. Right. So the next thing is I'm going to need let's pick the model. So I'm going to LLM. So I'll be doing the OpenAI this time. I'm going to choose the table, and the next thing I'm going to do now is I need to feed my knowledge base. So I click on the knowledge base, right? And what I'm going to do now is I need to upload the data. So I'm going to do the health data. All right, so let's start connecting pipelines. So I'm going to pass the question to the knowledge base to get some answers and pass the results to the LLM. And I am going to connect that to the output to get an output. All right, so before we do that, we need to go to the LLM, the general, and we allow variable. Right, so we want to put some text to be passed to the system. So we want to put the text here. Right, so we are going to say you are a medical healthcare assistant. Answer questions to the best of your knowledge. All right. Okay. You are a medical healthcare assistant. All right. And we are going to connect that to system. All right. Perfect. So what we want to do now is let's save this. Save this. And let me do it medical. Say save. All right. So once that is saved, what I'm going to do now is let me say deploy. I'm going to do chatbot. All right. Once you click on that, it should bring you here. And I'm going to name it medical chatbot. Put right here. So medical right app. All right, so I've chose that already. And the input is going to be the input and the output. All right, so I'm going to save it. Save. Going to say export. So there are several options here. General functionality export. So I'm going to say export. And so you can use that to, so we have the WhatsApp, SMS, API, Slack. So you can deploy that using those options. So I'm going to say deploy. All right, so once I'm done with that, right, so I'm going to copy this. So let me click that here and let me paste it here. All right, perfect. So let me ask a question and I'm going to say, who is at risk of a heart disease? All right, so let me hit enter. Perfect. All right, says the provided text except appear to describe how to determine the individual risk of developing heart disease or having. All right, guys, so I embedded a health, that is a heart um, health PDF, and I ask a question about that, and it's giving me a feedback. All right, which is pretty awesome. Okay, so we've done the deployment. So let's get back to. You can also embed this into your website just by copying this link right here. All right, and just embedded that into your application or your website. It's pretty straightforward. We are going to build an autonomous pipeline that will streamline the process of sending and responding to customer emails. Okay, so we go to new, create pipeline from scratch. All right, so we are going to do the pipeline. So we need two pipelines. One is going to be the email body and the email ID. Okay. All right, so I'm going to say email address ID and email body. Okay, so we are going to put our knowledge base. So we want to send emails out using based on this context, all right? So we are going to upload. So I'm going to upload GPT-4. It's a PDF document on a model. All right, so let's get to it. Okay, all right. So let's put our model. So I'm doing GP. I'm using the OpenAI. I'm going to use the full table. Okay, minimize it a little. Okay, so we are going to do integrate that with the Gmail. All right, so we want to pass the Gmail and we want to create. So you can search emails, send emails, draft emails. So I'll just create email draft. Okay. All right, so let's connect that. So I'm going to connect the email body to the knowledge base to get retrieve answers. And we are going to pass the answers to the LLM. All right, so let me input a system here. So what do we want to put there? Okay, so I'm going to say generate um, generate test email response to the users. Jesus Christ. Okay, okay, so I'm going to pass this to the body. All right, so this is going to be the body of the email. All right, and I'm going to connect the email ID to the recipient. Okay, so the recipient is going to be the email ID. And we need one more thing. We need to pass the text. So what we want to pass in there. All right, so that's going to be the subject. Okay, so what we want to put in there, anything like um, let me just say article or something like that. Okay, okay. So let me. All right, think that is it. All right, so if you first time you want to connect that, you need to connect that to your Gmail. So I've already have that active. So if you're first time, you need to sign in to your Google in order to get connected. Okay. All right. So let me save this. I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. Okay. So let me save it. So I'm going to say email information. I'm going to say add. I'm going to say save. Okay. Awesome. All right. So I want to deploy this. So I'm going to say deploy. I'm going to say automation. Right, so you have the pipeline selected here, so you double check that pipeline input, and we go to select app. So I'm connecting to my Gmail. Say select account, and you select it. It connects to that. So event to respond to Gmail. All right, so I'm going to say Gmail automation. All right, so what do we want to trigger? So I want to trigger my inbox. All right, so that when I receive that, it's going to trigger my inbox. I receive the Gmail, the mail. Okay. All right. So email address ID is going to be the email address ID is going to be the sender, and the email body is going to be the content. Okay. So that's going to be a content. All right. So I'm going to say save. All right. So you go back to pipeline and you go to automation. Okay, so you are going to deploy it. All right, so once it's deployed, you go to pipeline and you go to run. All right, so once you have that run, I'm going to pass in my email, my Gmail account. I'm going to say insights h gmail. All right, and so once that is done, I'm going to say what is the future of GPT for all. Hit run. Let's give it a few to run. All right, so let's look into the Gmail. Let me refresh it. See? All right, guys. Yeah, I have it sent to my Gmail. Your inquiry on GPT for all in language model development. So, dear user, thank you for reaching out with the interest and latest surrounding for all projects. Wow, that's awesome. All right, guys, there are lots you can do or build with this kind of tool. I'm really excited. And all right, so you can find out more information and details on the product. It's really awesome. All right, so you can look at the pricing as well. They have the free, the starter. It has several things you can start with, including the open source LLMs. So you have the premium and the pro. You can check it out. All right. Okay, so this was all I wanted to show you. I hope you like this video. Don't forget to share and subscribe and see you in the next one.